G'day guys, on the agenda today is back squatting. Hold off until the end of the video though, because I've got a stretch specifically for the upper body in this movement. Let's have a look and see how it's done. Okay, so as I get under the bar is set at about the clavicle height on the rack, and you can see me really sort of like forcing myself into that position to create a lot of upper back tightness. Very important for an optimal squat. You want your hands in as close to your shoulders as possible, while trying to maintain as straight a wrist as possible and not allowing your elbows to push back too much. We want the chest nice and high without going into excessive extension of the lumbar spine. So often the tail needs to be tucked under slightly. The depth of the squat varies depending on ankle, hip, and usually hamstring and adductor range of motion. We want to avoid excessive butt wink at the bottom. When I'm in squat stance and I'm under the bar, my feet are driving hard into the concrete. I'm externally rotating from the femur all the way down into the ankle. So without the foot moving, I'm externally rotating the feet, the knee, and the hip, so that we've got that hamstring and glute engagement through the exercise. So if you're not feeling like the the hamstrings and the glutes are fully active the entire set, that is my main tip for the lower body. Create as much tightness by driving into the floor. Remember, with the squat, the focus is not about standing up necessarily, it's more about driving your feet through the floor. It's like you're trying to crack the concrete, you're driving so hard. There is a visualization of driving up through the top of the hip or the lower back upwards, but like I said, try not to think about actually standing up. Use the mirror as a guide. You want to make sure that bar stays parallel to the mirror. You want the bar to stay horizontal at all times. And you want the bar to travel in a bar path that's, ideally in the center of the foot, and it's a perfectly vertical bar path. So, as you go down, you're driving the hips back, you're driving the knees out, and you're locking those shoulders tight into your back and pushing them down towards your hips also. So on the way back up, soon as the hip sort of reaches the knee height, there's a real focus also on driving the hip forward, right, to really use the posterior chain. Keep those shoulders nice and tight throughout the whole set. We're trying to create as much tension in the body. You want to get that whole nervous system shake happening throughout the entire body. I've really got that grip tight. My shoulders, my chest is, really elevated. By the end of the set, the lats want to have a rest. Everything's tight. At the top of just before I lower, I take a big belly breath, big diaphragmatic belly breath. I do a TVA activation over the top of that, and I hold my breath as I lower down. I let the breath out through the top half, coming back up, then repeat. So there you have it, guys. There's a lot to the squat, the timing and the technique of it, and just creating as much tension as possible. It's probably something that very few will ever perfect. It really is something that even very, very experienced lifters are always trying to improve the timing and the technique of their movement. There's so much involved. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at a really effective upper body stretch specific for the back squat. So the main cues here is to keep the wrist straight, and we're dropping 4 to 6 inches under the bar. Then as we move in and under the bar, we're just sort of heading in that direction of the low bar back squat. You are forcing it a little bit, but obviously we don't want any pain or discomfort to come out of it. And I might do 6 to 8 sets of 5 on, 5 off with this one, and it really opens up that area to allow me just to get into that much better position when I am doing low bar back squatting, or even just high bar back squatting. It just feels better with that freedom of doing this stretch first. Alright guys, so I hope all that helps. Let us know in the comments if you have any questions, and happy squatting.
And you know where I live. Yeah, you know what we